Last week, U.S. President Donald Trump defied international consensus and withdrew the United States from the Iran nuclear deal. Israeli leaders hailed the decision, while others accused Trump of putting the world on a path to war with no plan B. Well, ILTV's Brett Allen Smith is here with an update on where things now stand with the JCPOA.
Thanks, Tasha.
Well, obviously this has been a historic week with all the celebrations surrounding the U.S. Embassy opening in Jerusalem and, of course, the turmoil along the Gaza border. It feels like the Iran deal has kind of slipped into the back of people's minds.
Sure, but at the same time, even during those festivities on Tuesday, the Iran deal was kind of, the elephant in the room. When U.S. Treasury Secretary Steven Mnuchin took the stage on Tuesday morning, he actually cited his background in global finance and pitched the sanctions approach that Trump prefers with this. It works, is what he said to the audience. The United States has indeed resumed those sanctions. Mnuchin's department actually just singled out the head of Iran's central bank as a terrorist and accused him of laundering terror funds through an Iraqi bank to Hezbollah.
Well, Europe has, of course, been scrambling to keep Iran in the deal, even without the United States. Right. Is it too early to tell if that's going to happen?
Yeah, too early to tell. I'd say so. So yesterday was really actually the big day, the first real big day of renegotiations between the EU and Iran. Now, sometimes there is a little bit of optimism in Europe because so far Iran has expressed a certain willingness to work things out. And there's also the fact that even with the U.S. sanctions in place, if Europe, China, and Russia band together, Iran may escape the brunt of the economic blow there. But as always, it is never so simple as that because the U.S. will likely be trying to punish those countries with sanctions of their own.
Yeah.
And that could go either way. That could either force Europe's hand and cause the deal to collapse, or it could just alienate America from its allies and isolate the American economy.
Well, the deal itself is one thing, but let's not forget that last week we also saw perhaps the biggest offenses by Iran on Israel ever. I mean, last week the regime launched dozens of missiles from Syria at army bases in northern Israel, prompting the IDF to counterattack and essentially decimate Iran's presence there. So how does this threat on the border factor in?
Yeah, I mean, it's all related. I mean, that's actually something that Merkel just spoke about in defending Europe's decision to try and save the deal. And here's what she says.
Kann man besser sprechen, wenn man dieses Abkommen kündigt? Oder kann man besser sprechen, wenn man in diesem Abkommen bleibt? Wir glauben, dass man besser miteinander weiterreden kann und muss. Ich sage das ausdrücklich, weil das ballistische Raketenprogramm eine Gefährdung auch gerade der Sicherheit Israels ist. Wir glauben, man kann besser sprechen, wenn man in diesem Abkommen bleibt, meine Damen und Herren.
Right, so specifically calling out Israeli security interests there. And Merkel actually spoke with Prime Minister Netanyahu last night on the phone. Of course, he's lobbying Europe to follow Trump's example and allow the deal to collapse. And they certainly talked about the EU's big meeting with Iran yesterday. The rumor is that Iran wants to see a deal happen within the next few weeks, or they'll walk. And likely that would mean that they would resume their nuclear activity thereafter.
Well, Israel has made it very clear that Iran will never obtain a nuclear warhead. And now that the U.S. is out of the deal, we'll just have to wait and see which course of action Israel will eventually have to take. All right, thanks for the update, Brett.
Of course.